Good morning. It is the Head Chronicles. So I'm setting a new goal for 2026, or I don't like the word goal. I'm setting a new intention for 2026, and that is to record a video every single day. And I don't know when I have time for that. And I have utilized video editing software. I mean, I know how to make reasonably presentable videos, you know, with all the editing and great sound. I have a really squeaky chair. I'll have to fix that because it's old. It's a vintage chair and it's so comfortable, but it's super creaky, squeaky. So maybe I just need to oil it. I don't know, but the plan is to do a video every single day in 2026. I mean, that just, it kind of overwhelms me a little bit. But the point is that I need to get over this fear of visibility. I don't think it's a fear. There's just resistance, really, because it's video editing. It can be a lot of work, can take up a lot of time, and writing is really where I want to spend my my valuable brain energy. But I need to start doing videos, so I don't know. We're just gonna do bedhead videos. I have crazy hair in the morning, just like I think a lot of people do. Sometimes mine gets really crazy. So I don't know. Let's see how crazy it can get. How crazy can my bedhead be? And the other thing that I want to start with here is Mark Nepo wrote a book, The Book of Awakening. My partner shared this with me back before we even started dating, and I really appreciate it. I think for me to just be on here like this, it will help to have something. So we'll go through together 365 days of Mark Nepo. I'll read to you. And like I said, this isn't for you, it's for me. I just, you know, thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoy the reading of the Book of Awakening, 365 days, and I'm just showing up. So I don't know, write mean comments, because that probably would help me a little bit to get over this, you know, caring so much. So I'm not even sure I do. Like I said, I think I just know how time consuming this is. So like the commitment of showing up every day, you know, definitely something I did when I was bodybuilding. Show you a picture of bodybuilder Ashley. Because we're just ad-libbing this video. I'm gonna have a messy room sometimes, but you know, there was a time where I was really showing up for myself to do the thing. And instead of working out in the gym, I'm gonna be here waking up to you every day for a year. So let's read January 1 together. How cool is that? Oh, I can't find it. Give me a second. And I don't know if I'll start making these live. I might. You just got to make sure it's going to happen. And it's not even January 1. I don't even know what today is. It's November. It's before Thanksgiving. I thought I'd reuse this video for that, so. I've got a bookmark. My sticker. This would be a lot easier if you weren't so hard on yourself. All right. November 20, I think it's 21st. I might be off. That's gonna be embarrassing because I may be off a day. That could totally be a mean girl comment. All right. November 21. It's gotta be the 21st, right? Hang on. Yeah, okay. As far as we can manage, wherever we stop is the summit. I was climbing Trail Ridge Road through the Rocky Mountains, determined to make the Continental Divide, when two sharp feelings pierced me almost at once. I who have never had any trouble with heights felt rushes of fear as I drove on narrow stretches 12,000 feet up. I was also filled with the irrevocable truth that everything there is wherever we are. I was also filled with the irrevocable truth that everything there is wherever we are. This all made me stop and walk the tundra above the tree line. There I was overcome with the sudden truth that I could go no farther, and that I had no need to go any farther. Can it be that this journey through the mountains mirrors the journey through our lives? Is our suffering like the dizzying, gut-wrenching narrow passes through these ancient rocks? Do we simply move on until we can't? And accepting our humanity, does the peak come to us? What an unlikely truth. I traveled as far as I could manage, and there on the bare scalp of the earth, I realized that where I can go no further is my destination. This is the wearing of heart that no one can escape. Despite all our noble efforts to reach some treasured peak, be it a dream of wealth or love, we carry the summit within. And it is always the effort and exhaustion, the very journey itself, that opens the view, which is everywhere. For the summit is not so much arrived at as we are worn open to it. I felt the truth of arriving at wherever my human limitations had left me, knew somehow it was enough, and I let out a cry like a vapor. We are as bare as these crags being worn by endless wind, and regardless of the maps we carefully draw and pass down, we arrive at what we've always had when we use up everything we've saved. In this way, we are brought to humility. Once accepting our frail humanity, we can see how stubbornly fragile living things are. We can see how it takes just a thin lick of water down a mountain crack to strengthen a root, and a bare lick of love through our stony hearts to blossom a soul. Earlier, we asked these questions, which seem worthwhile to explore again. So breathe deeply and see what they touch in you now. What is it about being human that you are most grateful for? What is it about being human that continues to surprise you? I think that's a great question. One of the things that I really, so Mark Nepo is a poet who has survived cancer and surgeries and has had moments where he thought his life was coming to a rapid close. And there is a part of this book that's my very favorite. And he talks about what it is to be human. This is one that they've got all kinds of underlines, and they're always messy, which is how I like to be sometimes in my writing and underlining and things, and in my world. This is the kind of messy that I like. It's the way my little brain works. Oh, look at it. So let me share this. When he talks about being human, I love this thought. Imagine that what wakes in you has lived forever, and that it wakes within a soft and resilient casing of tissue that will take you wherever you want. That you have these delicate surfaces through which to feel wind and see light, and sense the spirit of everything else that has lived forever. I just love the thought of, as a human, like thinking about, if this wasn't a video game, this incarnation on Earth, and we're just here to experience all the things. I think my soul is pretty hell-bent on learning patience in this incarnation. But imagine that this is the avatar. This is the body that we're inhabiting, and more than just something in a video game where you're just processing it with your mind. We have this incredible casing of skin that we experience light and heat and cold and pain and pleasure and this has been, in the last year or so, I have really been working to become embodied, to come home to my body. I think most of my life I've spent kind of dissociated, living in my head and even beyond in my imagination, always out there in the ether. And so I had a mantra where I said to myself, it's safe to be here, and I choose to be here. I choose this body, I choose this moment. And I'll do meditation sometimes where I'm just rooting down into this body, rooting down into the ground, just being, landing, being here, centering here. So that's what I think of when Mark Nepo talks about what it is to be human. How about you? What are you most grateful for to be human, as a human being? And what continues to surprise you? That is such a strange question. I have to think about what surprise. I mean, certainly there's a lot of surprises. How it just never seems like it gets easier. But I think maybe in some ways it gets lighter. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but yeah, that's my takeaway for the day. Like I said, patience is the word, and I think patience really can translate in so many ways to the word faith. Those two words seem inextricably linked together. I had the thought that the secret to manifesting, because I still have a mild obsession with manifestation, although pretty close to releasing the outcome on most things. But the secret to manifestation is patience, right? Faith, patience, releasing the outcome, which is, I don't know, what patience and a release of outcome, I feel like would be what the equivalent of faith is, almost. So that's my diatribe for the day on what it is to be human and faith. And I'm nearly as human as I can be at the moment. So other than the fact that I'm wearing clothes, this is raw. And I don't know if it gets posted, if I post this video, just know, like, thanks for being here for it. Here for it. I don't know if you could hear that. We'll see. This video may get deleted, it may go away and no one will ever see it. Or someday down the road I may post it and say this was the very first one. Or today I might post it because I'm feeling crazy. So, and if so, thanks, like I said, thanks for watching all the way 13 minutes. I do ramble, and yeah, appreciate you being in the space with me. What is it that your intention is for the year? What are you stepping into? It's a pretty pivotal year, 2025. Lot of changes. I feel them in my bones. This year for me has been a major change in my approach to life. And also I've noticed, I don't know, more results, more alignment with what's really important to me. By changing my approach. So instead of chasing, I've just been lining up and allowing and doing my best to accept things just as they are. I have a saying on my mirror that I say that I choose all of this. I choose all of this. I think there is a Buddhist saying, tathata, which means suchness, which is acceptance of all that is. And so as we go into 2026, that is kind of my approach, is that inner non-resistance, that full allowing of what is, unconditional allowing. You know, I think so much of Viktor Frankl. I recently finished the book again, Man's Search for Meaning, and how for him incarnating meant becoming a researcher, writing his magnum opus, and having it in his pocket, and having the opportunity to leave, I think is Austria, for America when things were getting pretty sketchy in Europe during the Hitler regime. And he stayed for his parents. He chose not to leave. His parents were gassed immediately. you know, when everything hit the fan, and he's riding in a train with his magnum opus, you know, his life's work, his writing in his pocket, his manuscript. And then he gets to Auschwitz and it's all taken away. And there's this moment where he's standing in line and everyone in line is naked and fully, completely shaved, head, body. And he has this raw moment of truth, of the essence of what and who we are, beyond everything that we've contrived, everything that we've assembled to make an identity. And he'd lost everything. He'd lost his wife. You know, he didn't know it at the time, but he'd lost his wife, he'd lost his parents. Life was fully uncertain, and there was nothing but bare, raw humanity in that moment. And getting back to the point of telling the story, you know, was that Viktor Frankl, his incarnation was about that, going to the very bottom, the very rawness of what it means to be alive, barely hanging on from one breath to the next, not even sure if you want to take the next breath, and yet surviving with a level of resilience that is that's beyond, I think, what most humans can even conceive of. No one would want or choose that experience. And yet for him, you know, his soul wanted to just go to those depths and come out on the other side. And he wrote incredible works and created logotherapy and, you know, went on to do even more powerful things than perhaps if he'd never been through that experience. But yeah, it makes me think about what it means to be human, what it means to be incarnate. I don't think that we, you know, as we come into life, it wasn't about having a white picket fence and a perfect career and straight teeth and beautiful children that make straight A's and a great car and a hot boyfriend or partner. That's not why we incarnated. That's not why we're here. I think when, you know, and I have this belief that our soul chose this incarnation, this path, because there were things it wanted to learn. And I picture my soul up there just like, oh yeah, let's do this. Let's do the car accident. Let's do the divorce and the bankruptcy. Let's go to the bottom. Let's have children that are nothing like me, you know, that challenge me on such a deep level. Let's match up with partners who are gonna trigger some of my oldest wounds. You know, let's face those childhood struggles just head on. You know, let's play with poverty. Let's have insecurity and scarcity and lack, and then let's learn to just transform all of that limitation into an inner freedom. And that's what I'm writing about this week in my blog as well. Is that ease is when ease isn't easy. I wrote this, I started this blog called EaseAF. Yeah, notes from the other side of the hero's journey. And it's been feeling a little hero's journey-ish. So, yeah, ease, I believe, is a state of mind. And we're going on almost 20 minutes. If you're still with me, wow. I honor you and salute you and thank you. And like I said, this for now is about me just showing up. So this was video numero uno. And I guess expect a whole bunch more. And if you don't see them, then that means that I chickened out and decided it wasn't worth it. And that's okay too. But feel free to call me on it. All right. I hope you have a great Friday. I'm headed to Florida tonight with my girlfriend. And maybe we'll be doing some videos from the beach this weekend. Who knows? We're just gonna go with it. We're setting an intention and we're gonna see where it leads, because that's always really fun. All right. Namaste. Mwah.